We are down to the last 2 days before America goes to the voting booth. Hillary Clinton is in Ohio today and New Hampshire, while Trump is headed to Iowa as well as Pennsylvania. Both nominees are focused on their final moments on those battleground states. And joining us right now is pollster and former senior advisor to Governor Walker and Mitt Romney's presidential campaigns. Ed Goes is with us. Also with us is Chuck Rocha, Democratic strategist and president of Solidarity Strategies. Good to see you both, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, Ed, it's interesting because when you look at Hillary Clinton these days, she's with Jay-Z and Beyonce. She's with Katy Perry. Today she's going to be with LeBron James. A lot of celebrity around her. And then you look at Donald Trump. It's just Donald Trump. And he's getting the crowds, even more so than Hillary is. What does that tell you?
Well, I always caution not overplay the size of the crowds. I remember Walter Mondale having a crowd of 50,000 on the eve of the election, that the next day he lost 49 states. I think what we have is that, quite frankly, we're in a phase where we're no longer moving voters on the ballot, but moving voters to vote. And if you look at these events, what you have to be asking the question, is it representative of a ground game going on? In most of the cases, if you look at the Democratic events, they're holding it right by early voting places, and they're moving those people from the event to early voting. And that's why they're taking that kind of approach. So you have to kind of look at those events and understand, right now, all these polls are showing a very close race, but it's going to come down to who can move the vote to the polling places. Well, I think that's a really good point.
And Anthony Scaramucci is with us today. And Anthony, I want to get your take on that because Clinton's really ramping up some serious star power here, right? She's got Katy Perry, Jay-Z, Beyonce. Today, LeBron James is coming out to support her on the trail. But do they have the ground game in terms of Trump? Even though, you know, it's just Trump, no celebrities, he's getting the people. But what about the ground game?
Well, listen, I think they have a stronger ground game, meaning the Hillary Clinton campaign has a stronger ground game. I think this is going to be about passion of the voter, Maria. At the end of the day, she will be able to do the traditional stuff that the Democrats do better than the Republicans, bring their people to the voting polls. It's just going to be whether or not there's enough disaffected Americans that are tired of the system that are going to come out and vote for him. And so all I can tell you is that when they had Jay-Z on Facebook Live, he got about 22,000 viewers. At Trump Tower, Facebook Live, no matter who's on there, you're getting 40 to 50,000 right at the moment, and then a cumulative 2.1 million. And so the Trump Facebook Live, by a form factor to them, is about 7-8 to 1.
Wow.
And again, I agree about the crowds. The crowds may or may not be the deciding factor in an election.
Chuck,
and I remember the Mondale situation.
Chuck, what about that? I mean, even LeBron James is coming to support her on the trail. Here's what Donald Trump said about that. I want to get your take on all this celebrity. Listen to this.
I want to hear you roar. Stand up for what you believe. Know the power of your own voice. It can change the world.
Hillary Clinton has all of these celebrities and failed politicians out campaigning for her. And she has crowds so much smaller than ours. I just have me, but I have my family.
What about that, Chuck?
Well, to a political operative who runs campaigns for an event, all of these celebrities and all these big rallies just get in the way of what should be going on right now. What Ed just said is getting out the vote. That's good. It's good to be on TV. It's good to have a celebrity up there. It's good to talk about the things that's going on that not of. But what's really going on right now is when you let your cows out all day long, they come home in the evening. So the cows are coming home right now, and they need to find a safe place to stay. Democrats and Republicans, that's why you're seeing these polls all over the places, where you need to make sure you get your cows to the polls. Everybody's got to get them out there, and they know their names and get them all out there. That's what everybody should be focused on right now. Should be the singular focus.
The strong early Latino turnout for Hillary Clinton, Chuck, in like Arizona and Nevada, if you will. Who's doing that? Is it part of the Clinton campaign, or is it operatives like you? Really, who have been on the ground for years, making sure that you were going to have more people voting this election?
That's a great question, and there's a lot of things going on there. One thing is Clinton campaign has a good operation going on talking to Latinos, but there's this whole other operation going on. My firm talked to 1 million Latino voters yesterday just from Latino nonprofits to make sure they knew where to go early vote, make sure they knew what time it was open, and to make sure that they knew Election Day was on Tuesday. And then you see the growth of the Latino population, whose average age is only 27 years old, where 60,000 Latinos turn 18 every month. That general population growth is that increase in numbers that you see, 29% of the voters in Orange County, Florida yesterday were new voters from Puerto Rico who have registered in the U.S. and turned out.
Wow.
That's going to be the biggest factor, I think, in this election if she wins.
Especially since this email scandal continues to follow her, Chuck, and more reports coming out of the Clinton email story. As her time as Secretary of State, Clinton asked her housekeeper to print out government emails, including ones containing classified information, according to the reports. That's the cover story today in the New York Post, and it's being talked about in the media. Can Clinton win over undecided votes when her emails are still a source of problems, as she's asking her housekeeper to handle national secrets as well?
I think that's not a good narrative walking into Election Day, and that small sliver of undecided voters, or a lot of those female voters outside of Philadelphia and Columbus, and you don't want that to be your narrative on GOTV weekend. You want to be talking about your core message and rising above it, and you don't want to be talking about negatives or emails or government investigations.
Yeah, it's a good point, because usually at the end of campaigns, it's time to give a positive message. But she's made a decision, Kat Timpf, to just attack Trump. That's the message.
Well, that's all it distracts from her own issues. The housekeeper email thing really is ridiculous. I mean, I have my dad visiting me this weekend. There's certain things in my apartment. I'm like, oh, I don't want my dad to see this. I'll put it away. It's, you know, it's not even really that consequential.
Like what are
He's
the
here
things?
right
I mean,
now.
I'm just asking, like what, Kat? What are the things in your apartment?
It's not even consequential.
Right.
But if it's something that serious, come on.
Yeah, there you go. Chuck, Ed, good to see you. We'll see you soon. Gentlemen, thank you, and we'll be right back.